Hello everyone, I'm Charlie Danis of Capital Athletics, and welcome to this special Periscope presentation on athletics.capital.edu. Joining me now, the head football coach of the Capital Crusaders, Mr. Craig Candeto. Coach, 49-27 win over Wilmington last week. Last game, it was a 38-27 loss to Wittenberg, and I remember you telling me that you were happy with your team's effort, but not satisfied. How satisfying was it to get that first win in 2015 against the Quakers?
Very satisfying. Anytime you get a win, like I told our team, it's exciting, and we can't ever take those for granted. Our guys know there's a lot that we need to work on, though, and we're going to come back this week and work really hard.
Taking a look at the offense, 509 yards of total offense, 381 of which were on the ground. That tells me right there that the offensive line was moving people around, opening up holes for all the playmakers. Assess how your O-line did against the Quakers.
They played well. They played physical. They're more physical this year, like we mentioned earlier in one of these shows. And the first thing the opposing head coach came over and told me is, hey, you guys are pretty good up front. And, we are. Anytime we can rush for that many yards, our offensive line is paving the way. And we've got some backs and receivers as well that are doing their job, slots included in that, that are, it's a team game. And anytime we rush the ball for that many yards, it's across the board. All 11 guys are doing pretty well.
I'll tell you one thing's for sure, you got a really good back in Brent Walton. He had 9 carries for 179 yards, 3 touchdowns, second straight game that he's totaled 3 touchdowns, offensive player of the week in the OAC. It'd be great if he could keep this up, right?
No doubt. I think if we can get that performance out of Brent every single week, we'll be happy with that. People are starting to make comments, but for him, it's going to be consistency. We found ways to get him the football. I was reading some clippings before our game. Wilmington's goal was to shut him down, and Brent did a nice job staying within our game plan to get him the football and put up some big numbers.
We're talking with head football coach Craig Candeto here on the special Periscope presentation of Capital Athletics. Capital coming off of a 49-27 win over Wilmington. Another guy that stood out in that win over the Quakers, Nick Iskey, 2 rushing touchdowns, but I thought he really made strides in the passing game. 8 of 11 through the air for 147 passing yards, completing all types of passes, short, medium, a couple long bombs, including that 51-yard to Zach Wyrick near the end of the first half. I felt like he took a big step. What say you?
Yeah, I agree with you. Nick graded out at 95%, so that's saying a lot. That's a really good grade for a quarterback that's got a lot on his plate. We did a lot of different things with Nick. Like you said, we got him outside the pocket. He made some throws from the pocket, and we were rolled with him. The first game we went Zach, Nick, and then I just felt really comfortable with how Nick was playing in this game, and it showed up on the stat sheet, on his grade sheet, and we're going to have to hit throws like he did on Saturday to be successful. The running game is good, but it's only as good as if we can loosen those guys up in the secondary as well. And we were able to make some timely throws, some third down throws, some big throws down the field that really helped our offense on Saturday.
And again, I talked about this with you earlier this year. This was after the Wittenberg game about how so many guys are averaging 5 yards a carry, 6 yards a carry, 7 yards a carry. Again, that has to go back to the offensive line, right?
It does, and if you can average that much, we just got to run it twice to get a first down. So that's a good thing. But yeah, the offensive line's doing a good job. We're getting defenders moved off the ball, getting good push inside, and those guys are more experienced now, like we've talked about before. A lot of it is in the off season. Those guys getting stronger, getting more physical. And, we're really going to have to match Muskingum's physicality this week because they're a very physical football team.
Well, we'll get to Muskingum in just a moment, but right now I want to focus on your leading tackler through 2 games. It's not Jimmy Curtis, it's J.R. Garrigo. This guy's a freshman out of Miami, Florida. So take me back to that recruiting phase when you were recruiting J.R. What caught your attention during the recruiting process, and what's allowed him to be a standout so far this year for your defense?
Yeah, number one, J.R. is a great young man, great family, and he's hungry. He's hungry to learn. He's not one of those guys that's come in and been entitled, said, hey, I deserve this or I deserve that. J.R. has earned for every single thing that he's gotten in his short career here at Capital, and that's why he's our leading tackler. He's a student of the game. He works his tail off every single week, every single day. And, that's what it takes. As a freshman coming into college football, I don't care how talented you are, there's going to be a steep learning curve. But J.R. has continued to commit himself to learning the defense, and he's put himself in a great position to be successful.
And he's not the only young guy working back there in the secondary. How do you think the secondary's done through the first 2 games of the year?
We improved from the first week. I think we're a lot closer on defending passes than we were last year. You can see the strides that we've made in the secondary, And we got some pressure on the quarterback this past week that forced some bad throws, but we're defending a lot more passes, which is obviously encouraging. But we're still young back there, but they're progressing, and I think we're going to get better every single week.
And of course, just to wrap things up with the Wilmington game, good to get a win on the road.
No doubt. Anytime you can get a win on the road in the OAC, that's huge, because this, as you know, is a very, very tough conference. To go into somebody else's house at night into a little bit of a hostile environment is quite an accomplishment. I'm proud of that.
All right, Coach, so let's now turn our attention to your next game against Muskingum, a squad that beat your guys last year. So now they get to come to Bernlohr Stadium, an opportunity for some payback for last year. What catches your eye on film about the Muskies?
Well, they're very physical, and they're experienced. I look at their two deep, and they've got some older guys that have been in the program for a while. So anytime you can have that, you're going to have success and have a chance to be pretty good. And I don't think their record speaks to what type of football team they have. Being 0-2, playing a couple tough teams, one of them Mount Union. Not much you can get from that record, because they're a much better football team than a 2-loss team right here 2 games into the season. So things that stand out: those guys play hard. They play really hard, and they play with a chip on their shoulder. And we found that out last year. They were very physical in our game, and nothing's really changed from last year from what we see on film right now. So we're going to have to play a really good football game against these guys.
They're very similar to you guys in that they like to control the clock with their run game. So I would imagine that whoever enforces their run game is going to win this game, correct?
Correct, and that's what it was last year. They were able to get us out of our run game a little bit last year, and they were able to run the ball against us. I think they had 400-plus yards against us on the ground last year. And anytime, we know better than anybody, if you can do that on the ground, you're going to have some success. So, and the turnovers were against us last year. I think we turned the ball over 3 times last year. To this point this year, we haven't had a turnover on offense. So if we can continue that trend of winning the turnover battle, we're going to give ourselves a shot. But you're exactly right. The ground game is going to be very important this week.
It's going to be a special night at Bernlohr Stadium, the first ever night football game at Bernlohr with the new lights. Expected to have a huge crowd. I think they're even giving away white shirts to the first 500 fans that show up for the game. That has to be exciting. The atmosphere must be electric, no pun intended, obviously, but it has to be really cool to finally have a night football game here.
It really is. And our guys, what I found, our guys really like the night games. And, I think they're excited. So if they're excited, I'm excited. And I think our fan base is going to get excited as well. You have to, all day to possibly tailgate. We're going to have our walk there before the game. And, all the things that promotional are going on with the T-shirts and all that. I think there's a buzz around our football program right now this week that our guys are going to come out ready to play.
All right. Well, Coach, hopefully you will be able to put on a very good show under the lights against Muskingum. Good luck against the Muskies.
Thank you.
That was head coach Craig Candeto joining us. Again, remember, a whiteout at Bernlohr Stadium, the first ever night game at Bernlohr Stadium. Kickoff is scheduled for 7 o'clock, and the first 500 people that show up to the stadium will get free commemorative white T-shirts. Remember, it's a whiteout. Wear your capital white. For Capital Athletics, I'm Charlie Danis. We'll see you next time.